On the entry list, you've got Eala. She's there. Boiseau is also there. Badosa, she's going to have to play qualifying. She didn't make the cut. To see who is not actually on the entry list, you know, Badosa's in the qualies at this stage. Now, there are a lot of wild cards.
Have you ever seen a tennis player rise so quickly that even established stars begin to feel the pressure and sense a real shift happening around them? That is exactly what is unfolding right now with Alex Eala, whose rapid surge has caught the entire tennis world off guard after securing a direct entry into the French Open 2026 main draw, completely avoiding the exhausting qualifying rounds, a decision that has reportedly surprised many insiders and fans alike, including Paula Badosa, a player who has spent years competing at the highest level, earning respect through big victories, consistency, and resilience, yet now finds herself in a moment where the narrative is clearly evolving as attention begins to drift toward a younger, fast-rising name. And this situation reflects a bigger transformation in modern tennis where rankings alone are no longer the only factor, because impact, excitement, and the ability to attract global interest are playing a massive role in shaping opportunities. And right now Eala is capitalizing on all of it, even though her season has not been completely smooth, as she has experienced uneven performances, moments of struggle, and matches where her level dipped. But despite those challenges, tournament organizers still see something unique in her potential, something that places her among the sport's most promising figures much earlier than expected, which sends a clear message that she is being viewed as a future face of the game. And naturally, that kind of rapid rise can be difficult for established players to process, especially when they have spent years grinding, refining their craft, and maintaining their place among the elite, because watching momentum swing so quickly toward a new contender is never easy. Yet at the same time, it would be unfair to ignore the work behind Eala's breakthrough, as her growth has been building steadily over recent months, particularly during the Australian Open, where her performances generated massive buzz, drew huge crowds, and sparked viral clips across social media, with fans lining up just to watch her compete, creating an atmosphere that clearly showed she is no longer just another rising prospect, but a player who is actively reshaping attention within the sport. And if this trajectory continues, it may not just be about one tournament entry, but the beginning of a much larger shift in the balance of women's tennis. People were showing up early in the morning just to secure a seat before the courts filled. And the most surprising part was that these weren't even final matches. This was simply the growing Alex Eala effect in action, something tournament organizers immediately picked up on, as the energy around her matches felt completely different from the rest, with younger fans drawn to her fearless style, strong support coming from across Asia, and even casual viewers becoming emotionally invested in her journey, while her presence on court consistently drove massive engagement online, proving that in today's game audience connection carries serious weight, especially for Grand Slam events like the French Open where excitement, narrative, and global appeal matter just as much as rankings, and Eala has clearly been delivering on all fronts. But the real turning point came at the Miami Open, a stage where she didn't just participate, but made a powerful statement that shifted how the tennis world viewed her. As her performance there forced analysts, commentators, and fans to stop seeing her as just another rising prospect and start recognizing her as a legitimate contender, playing with a level of fearlessness that stood out, moving with greater sharpness, showing stronger belief in her game, and most importantly, taking control of points against top-level opponents instead of simply reacting, which all built up to her biggest breakthrough moment, a statement victory over Coco Gauff, a Grand Slam champion and one of the most prominent figures in women's tennis, a win that didn't just add to her record but completely elevated her credibility on the global stage and signaled that her rise is not based on hype alone, but backed by performances that can challenge the very best. It proved she could handle pressure. It showed she could go toe-to-toe with elite competitors. And most importantly, it confirmed that she truly belongs at the highest level of the sport. And from that moment forward, the momentum didn't slow down as her performances kept generating attention across the tennis world, including at the Indian Wells Open, where she once again displayed flashes of brilliance. And even without lifting the trophy, she impressed observers with a level of composure, decision-making, and mental strength that seemed far beyond her years, which led many experts to highlight her growing tactical awareness, improved shot selection, and increasing confidence when facing top-tier opposition. And when you connect all of these pieces, the decision by the French Open to place her directly into the main draw starts to feel far more logical, because this isn't just about rankings anymore. It's about trajectory, long-term value, and the kind of presence a player brings to the global stage, as organizers clearly recognize that her popularity is rapidly expanding and that she has the potential to become one of the defining faces of women's tennis in the near future, which naturally makes her a must-watch attraction for fans around the world. And another major element behind this rising belief is the backing she has started to receive from some of the biggest names in the sport, including Novak Djokovic, whose public support carries enormous weight given his experience at the very top and his deep understanding of what it takes to achieve greatness. Having gone through intense pressure himself and emerged as one of the most dominant figures in tennis history, with reports suggesting that he has been particularly impressed by her mindset, discipline, and commitment to improvement. And that kind of endorsement can significantly accelerate a young player's credibility, because when someone of Djokovic's stature recognizes your potential, it naturally influences how tournaments and audiences perceive you. And the recognition doesn't end there, as Maria Sharapova has also reportedly spoken positively about her future, bringing a different perspective rooted not only in on-court success, but also in global influence, since Sharapova herself evolved into far more than just an athlete during her career, becoming a worldwide icon who understands branding, visibility, and star power at the highest level. And when figures like these begin to acknowledge a rising player, it signals that her impact is extending beyond results alone and entering a space where performance, personality, and global appeal are all combining to shape what could be the next major force in women's tennis.
I think she has such an amazing head on her shoulders and the game, and I think she has a voice and a platform that's going to, transcend the sport. And as we know now, sport is not just tennis. It's fashion, it's art, it's culture, it's having a platform, and I think she does brilliantly of merging all of those together.
And according to conversations surrounding Alex Eala's rapid emergence, Maria Sharapova reportedly sees something far beyond just talent in her. Not merely a strong competitor, but a potential cultural icon in the making, which is an extraordinary claim because only a handful of athletes ever transcend their sport to become symbols of an entire generation. Yet Eala is moving into that space for Filipino tennis and for a wider wave of young Asian athletes who see in her a reflection of what's possible. And that kind of emotional connection creates a powerful bond with fans that goes far deeper than match results, making her presence feel larger than the game itself. And when you contrast that with the current situation of Paula Badosa, the shift becomes even more striking, because Badosa remains a highly respected figure whose achievements, resilience through injuries, and ability to compete at the highest level cannot be questioned. And at her peak, she was one of the most dangerous players on tour, with a power-driven style capable of challenging anyone. But tennis evolves quickly, and momentum often outweighs reputation. And right now, that momentum clearly belongs to Eala. As media attention continues to revolve around her, fan excitement keeps building in her favor, stadium crowds are increasingly drawn to her matches, and even major events like the French Open are placing their confidence in her presence, which naturally creates frustration for established players trying to hold their ground in an environment that is constantly shifting, because this phase is no longer just about winning matches, but about defining the next face of the sport. And Eala is rapidly stepping into that role, making her journey even more impressive when you consider the weight of expectations she now carries into every event. Where fans anticipate deep runs, media outlets look for headline moments, sponsors expect visibility, and critics demand near perfection, a level of pressure that can overwhelm even experienced professionals. Yet she continues to handle it with composure, and now she stands at the doorstep of her biggest opportunity, yet with a place in the main draw of Roland Garros, one of the 4 Grand Slam tournaments and arguably the most physically demanding stage in tennis, known for its slow clay courts, intense rallies, and unforgiving atmosphere where every point feels heavier and every mistake is magnified. And this time she will not enter as an underdog, trying to survive qualifying rounds, but as a direct entrant stepping onto one of the sport's grandest stages with the spotlight already firmly on her.